for having me, and I welcome all of you into this sacred space together. In just a moment, we're actually going to create a high feminine frequency field here so that whatever we do today, we'll call it a workshop, is actually going to be done in an energetic temple template so that you'll also be able to energetically attuned to that higher feminine frequency so that it can work with you and on you the entire hour that we're together. Before I take you there and before we activate and create that, I will just tell you a tiny little bit about myself. As Maya said, I am a priestess. I call myself at this point a multidimensional Magdalene Rose priestess. In general, a priestess is a self-initiated, self-proclaimed role here in this dimension at this time, although I have had many priestess trainings, and I erected and run a mystery school where I offer priestess trainings. The priestess is truly an archetypal energy that you will come to feel alive in you when it is time, if it is time in your journey. And you will have an opportunity to claim her for yourself if that feels right. The priestess is the conduit between heaven and earth. She is a catalyzer, she is an activator, and most importantly, she is a space holder. She holds safe and sacred space, and perhaps has developed some mastery around ceremony and ritual and herbs and some of the feminine arts that are coming back that we are reclaiming and remembering now. But at the core, at the most pristine, she simply holds space that other people can come into and have their own direct connection to source. So some of you that are yoga teachers, you're also doing priestess work. You may not call it that, but when you hold that space where people can connect with their body and feel God in themselves through that, you're actually doing priestess work as well. The priestess also has remembered, reclaimed, and reconnected with her own inner feminine. As many of us know, the feminine essence has been completely distorted, diminished, and has been forced to go underground for many, many lifetimes. And what a wonderful thing that we've got tickets to the great show here on Earth where we get to witness and be part of her return. I heard a channel the other day, many of us that are starseeds, that are high conscious people, I don't know if you ever find yourself, I'm like, I just want to go home. I want out of here. Take me back to the stars. And I heard a channel the other day say something so profoundly funny and poignant. And he was channeling a higher being, and the higher being said, if you only knew what a line there was around the galaxy to get into Earth right now, to have a body, you would never use a single breath to complain about your human life. And I thought, wow, that's a great perspective. I like knowing that there's a lot of people that want tickets right now, and we have them. How amazing. So what we're going to be doing today, just to give you a little bit of an overview, we will come into sacred space. We're going to activate a sisterhood together. Even though we don't know each other, I have come to believe that the goddess guides people to work with me by divine appointment. If you're here, you're meant to be here. And you're not only meant to be here with me, you're actually meant to be here with these other women who are going to be activated as your sisters for the next hour. And in that sisterhood, we're going to create a container, and we're going to create a magical space, because that's what the priestesses knew how to do, for transformation, transmutation, in this case, remembering, reactivating, and alchemy. And the art of alchemy is the true priestess art, the masterful priestess art. And the art of alchemy is knowing how to transmute lead to gold. In other words, our density and the illusion and the stuckness in ourselves, and transmute it into that which actually is our greatest light. Because if you didn't know this before, one of the things that the priestess holds as an absolute divine truth is that any pain that you experience in your life is also connected to your greatest power. Much like a diamond that needs to be in heat in order for her shine to be polished and her sparkle to be unleashed. The heat of our pain is what is always initiating your diamond consciousness. And if you are here on earth at this time, I honestly believe, particularly if you showed up today, you have the potential, you hold the codes and the blueprint inside of you to be one that unlocks Diamond Magdalene consciousness, which is completely embodied, remembered high feminine Christ consciousness. Now, I always have to put a disclaimer whenever I use the word Christ. Has nothing to do with religion, has nothing to do with Catholicism, has nothing to do with any of the Bible. I use the word Christ in its true form to mean crystalline consciousness, Christ, Christos, crystal, crystalline. Yeshua, Jesus, was a Christ in that he claimed his crystalline light body. All of us on earth, we have the potential right now to actually do the same, to claim that diamond consciousness that is the light body. So much of my work that I do with women is I bring them into the mystery school. I bring them into temple spaces, first to renegotiate their relationship with their own womanhood, renegotiate their relationship with their body, with their womb, with their blood, with their yonis. The power of the pussy is really, if you don't know about that, that is an incredible thing that every woman should take back for herself, because all of these aspects of our womanhood, think even just about our blood for a moment, we've been taught, many of us culturally, your mother may have taught you something different, and what a blessing if she had, but we've been taught that our blood is sort of a burden, it's messy, it's gross, we want it over, we can't wait, let's just clean it up. It stops us from being those masculine, successful people out into the world, right? And really your blood beholds such incredible intelligence. And when you know about your blood, your entire relationship with your womanhood, your body, and your deep magic begins to return. That's one level of reclaiming the goddess, and one of the things that I teach in the mystery school. The second level, is coming out and up from the matrix, from the third dimensional construct that is the narrow bandwidth that is your human perspective. We all have the potential and the power to come up from the frequency fences, that is the third dimensional matrix that tells you that you're just a human in a human body and that's your only operating system. And you can begin to understand that you have an entire operating system that you did not learn how to turn on, tune into, and navigate in school. And that's the operating system of your source self, your higher self, your divine self. And it is truly an operating system, just like your human is. It's an operating system that's incredible intelligence in your body, and it's constantly doing its thing. But your human operating system has been co-opted in that, unfortunately, we've created such a dense pattern of fear consciousness here that we're always functioning in the limitation of that scarcity consciousness, of that scarcity truth of fear. When you pop out of the third dimensional matrix and you come up through the frequency fences, and you really begin to function as a multi-dimensional being. In other words, you are not just in the third density anymore. You're moving into fourth density. You're moving into fifth density. And your consciousness sort of pings back and forth through everything. You begin to see yourself as both the human being that has all of her human pains and distortions and complaints, but you also get to truly experience yourself as a goddess that has insight and wisdom and knowing embedded within her bone marrow, and records that she's kept within her body of gifts that she's developed over lifetimes, that maybe, just maybe, she's ready to return to and reclaim in this lifetime. And there's a great revealing that happens for a woman in a mystery school setting. It's what I hold space for. It's what we're going to do a little bit of today. That word revealing is classic feminine energy. In our culture, we are all so masculine. We don't even realize it. The masculine is the doer, the doing energy, the electric energy that's constantly trying to prove itself, succeed, get somewhere. The energy that is logical, that is mental, that is the great figure outer. The feminine energy is the silent energy, the receptive energy, the spaciousness, the stillness. The feminine doesn't figure out anything. She's never engaging her mental aspects. She's going into the space of her own body to sit, to listen, to open her heart, and to allow something to be revealed to her. And this isn't just about spiritual things. When you truly learn to connect with your goddess, if you want to be wealthy, if you want to attract a partner, if you want to understand a situation with your kid, you go into the temple of your heart that knows all, that's connected to omniscient consciousness. And you allow wisdom to be revealed to you. Well, what's going to happen is that ideas that you never thought of before, because they weren't a possibility a moment ago in your third dimensional consciousness, are going to be revealed to you. And you're going to be able to get up and out of all the scarcity conditioning that you've been held down in. And it's the art of being able to go to your heart. Your heart is an incredible portal. Your heart is not just an organ that pumps the blood in your body. Your heart, when you open it, connects you to a higher consciousness, a source consciousness that is beyond the beyond of what you could possibly understand. And it's something that you become so in reverence to. So I created a 6-figure business in about 2 years. It went very fast because I stopped trying to figure everything out. And I simply went into my heart and I finally surrendered to my heart. And Goddess began to reveal to me. I thought, oh my God, that's so easy. How could I've never thought of that before? I could do that program. I could fill 13 people in that program. And I could, I could instantly have more money than I've had in the past 10 years. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. And when it comes from a place that is aligned, when these ideas, and you align yourself, the goddess, the priestess, also knows the art of attunement. She knows how to attune her consciousness, her body, her being, to be in the flow so that there's no longer any resistance. And when you are in the flow, then things just keep opening like the rose of the petals. It just keeps being revealed, keeps being revealed, keeps being revealed. So revealing energy is classic goddess energy. What else is goddess energy? It is the labyrinth as opposed to the line. The goddess knows that her life is not meant to be linear. It's meant to be the labyrinth. It's meant to curve. It's meant to spiral, because that's the energy of the feminine. So when we find ourselves in places of contraction, when we're a little bit in a fallow phase as opposed to a fruitful phase, oftentimes we're beating ourselves up. We're making that wrong. We're wondering what happened, why am I not functioning like the world says I should, which is constantly bright and light and successful? Well, it's because you are human and you are in the natural cyclical phases of being a woman and being a human. There are phases of expansion. There are phases of contraction. If you look at a woman's body, that body is so intelligent. It tells us everything we need to know about living our life, really, about how to birth ourselves to next level consciousness. We have to ride the waves of expansion and contraction without resistance. Because when there's resistance, what happens in a woman's body? There's pain. If there's no resistance, she rides those cycles, and that baby is born, and it is perfect, and it is how to birth your goddess self. So oftentimes people will say to me, well, how do I get out of resistance? Now, this is one of the greatest things I can tell you today. It's going to be so simple. Your mind is not going to be able to take it in. So I'm going to invite you to write it down. There's one simple thing that you can do to completely resolve, and collapse all resistance around you. And that is this. You practice feeling and attuning to the phrase, I allow it to be as it is. And there's some riffs off that phrase. I give myself permission to be as I am. I allow myself to blank. I allow myself to be scared. I allow myself to be really angry at my son. I allow myself to feel this incredible scarcity with money that I feel right now. Now, oftentimes people are so afraid to surrender to the isness because they think they have to constantly be fighting with life and figuring it out and making it better and making it different, as if life is fundamentally bad and something that you need to fight with. But when you surrender and you trust the divine order of life and you just lean back and let go, the very thing that you're afraid you're going to stay there, like, I give myself permission to feel this struggle with money. The instant that you claim that, name that, practice that, and feel that, what you're doing is you're going to open up a space because all the resistance is gone around you, and you're going to call in, without even knowing it, you're going to call in divine order. And the goodness of life, which is what life fundamentally is, the life-giving nature, the feminine nature, the birthing energy of life that is always wanting you, is always calling you home. Divine Mother is saying, my dear daughter, just give yourself to me. And we're all saying, well, I got to figure it out. I got to do it myself. I got to know how to, We're constantly in a war with our own life. We don't even realize it. I have a classic example of this that some of you may remember from when you were younger. Do you remember all trying to get boyfriends or girlfriends or partners? And the minute that you said, oh, forget it, I'm done, I don't want that boyfriend. Have you ever had that experience or had a friend? It's literally a phenomenon. We all know this. Why? Because she stopped being in resistance. And it was able to happen. That's the mother. That's the feminine. That's the life-giving fluid flow of life that is ultimately something you can absolutely trust. But so many of us have lost our ability to trust that. We've been so conditioned out of it. So now that I've presenced the feminine and I've given you what I call the foundational priestess practice, that permissioning, I have a video on it, and you can look it up on YouTube to tell you a little bit more. That is the foundation. If you can just keep yourself out of resistance and call the Divine Mother, call in that feminine, life is going to change. Truly, life is going to change. Okay? So I have a lot more to share with you, but let's come into sacred space now. Let's actually activate our sisterhood, because what will happen in the energy field oftentimes is something that can be surprising. Okay? So I'm going to invite you to place your hand on your heart, to take a nice, deep, long breath, imagining that you are unfurling and unfolding the wings of your heart, which are your lungs. The lungs are on either side of the heart. And as you breathe into these beautiful lungs, it's like you're unfurling these beautiful wings within. The idea here is that as you breathe and you're unfurling those wings, you're giving yourself permission to take up space. Those wings don't have to be folded or contracted or small anymore. Give yourself space, spaciousness within you. You may not even realize how subconsciously you're actually holding yourself in a contraction, even within your own body. As you breathe, you bring yourself into that openness, that spaciousness, that allowance. Let those wings unfurl from within and around that beautiful heart. And now let's go ahead and let's imagine that we can drop from the head, where most of us are. The head tends to be our center of energetic gravity. Let's drop from the head down to the heart, as if you could just watch a beautiful bright ball right in the center of your brain, a crystalline ball in slow motion go down your chakra column. Down, down, down. Surrendering, softening, and find that beautiful ball in the heart. And now place that beautiful ball in the center of the heart and let the energy and the light open the rose of the heart. And I invite you to actually imagine that there is a beautiful rose and that it begins to open. And now you're all on mute. I'll invite you to repeat this line after me. This is an invocation. It's a priestess invocation. It's just a simple practice, but an effective practice. I now call all of myself home to my heart. Say that 3 times. Yes, I now call all of myself home to my heart. And what you're ultimately doing is you're presencing yourself. And when you presence yourself, now you are connected to your source consciousness. When you are present in the moment is the only time, you've heard this all before in Zen and yoga, the moment is the only 0 point, the only place where you can access your source consciousness. And why not? That source consciousness is so much more intelligent than your human brain. Okay, good. And now what we're going to do is through the stargate of our heart, you're going to imagine that a small version of you is in now the sanctuary of your heart. It's very beautiful there. You have that beautiful rose that you're standing in, and maybe there's some shapes or some sacred geometry. You're in an actual sanctuary that is your heart. And you're going to notice with your inner eye, we're going to activate the pineal gland here, and notice with your inner eye that there is a stargate in your heart. You're going to open the stargate. You're going to walk through the stargate. And you're going to imagine that you're walking through the veils of Isis, the beautiful goddess of Egypt. And you're going to meet us in a sacred diamond temple, the Temple of Sophia. And we're all going to meet there one by one. There are 7 of us in this moment, and whomever it is that is listening to the recording, we invite them here in the here and now. And we bring ourselves into a sacred circle. Imagine that we are all coming one by one, meeting together, merging together on the multidimensional realms, in the liminal space, the space between the worlds. So yes, our bodies are all on screen with each other, but our spirits are in this beautiful realm in this sacred temple of Sophia. And you're going to take the hands of the woman on either side, a woman on your left, a woman on your right. Feel that when you are taking her hands, you're actually tuning into her ancient intelligence, her ancient wisdom. And there's something that turns on that you get to tune into in your own body, like a hum of energy. And now I'm gonna send my heart energy around the circle and just feel it as you feel it. It's almost like a wave that you'll catch. I'm going to ask Divine Mother to stand behind me, placing her hands on my heart so that we bring in, invoke, and call forth the pristine power of the Divine Mother. We now come together on this day in this holy moment, sister to sister, hand to hand, heart to heart, womb to womb, holy woman to holy woman, wisdom keeper to wisdom keeper, meeting and merging here on the multidimensional realms in the sacred temples of Sophia. Your soul may be very familiar with this space, or it may be that you are here for the first time, but allow part of you to feel like you are home. Breathe and be here in this circle, and we'll call in a circle of goddesses around us. You may know some of these, you may not. From the north, we'll call White Buffalo Woman, she of 1,000 white clouds and thunder beings. We'll call forth Isis, she of 1,000 names. We'll call forth Hathor, she of 1,000 voices. We'll call forth Green Tara, she of 1,000 stars. And Mother Mary, she of 1,000 roses. And Miriam of Magdala, Mary Magdalene, she of 1,000 angels. Coming with Magdalene, the entire order of the Magdalena. And calling in Kuan Yin, she of 1,000 waters. And Kuan Yin is going to come around the circle and bless each of your third eye, because we will be working with the element of water today. Just imagine that she stands in front of you now. She places her delicate finger right on your third eye and gives you a water blessing. And she says to you, I see you. I honor you, goddess. I remember you. You are welcome to this temple. And then I'll invite us all to take that line which activates our sisterhood to open our eyes to each other physically in this moment, and all these beautiful faces on all these beautiful little boxes on Zoom. And we're holding each other's hands in the multidimensional realms, but we're actually speaking to each other. And I invite you to repeat after me. As you look into the eyes of your sisters in this moment, say to them in this moment, really from your heart, sisters, I see you, sisters. I honor you as my sisters. I remember you. And I welcome you to this circle today. And we now do declare, with this act and with our intentions, that we have created a container, a sisterhood, a space in between the worlds that is safe and sacred. We honor that we create this container and that it is sacred simply because we say so. Because we are women on the path that are remembering our power, and we say when we are in sacred space. This circle is now cast and activated. Blessed be. Thank you. And that's the power of women right there, just to be able to connect even on the energetic ethers with an open heart. So let's talk about the heart for a moment. I'm going to give you 4 questions. You might want to write these down if you're interested, or just remember them, write them on your heart. One of the things that we want to negotiate in this world where we do become a little bit too masculinized. What do we mean by that, too masculinized? Basically, very simple, we're all in our head all the time. And there is a bit of a disconnect between our head and our heart. And when we're in our head, then we only have access to that masculine energy. And guess what? The head doesn't even want to be in charge. Our beautiful masculine inside, he's like, guys, I'm not meant to be in charge. I'm meant to be the server. The masculine is actually meant to serve the feminine. And I want to be very careful. I don't mean that men are meant to serve women. Of course not. What I mean is that the masculine essence inside of us is designed to serve the queen, to serve the feminine. But we've put the masculine in charge, and it hasn't been such a great show. One of the ways that we're going to completely rebalance our lives and rebalance our society and bring our society back to health, healing, and wholeness is for the women to return to their heart. When the women return to their heart, they begin to emit a heart energy that other women catch. Hearts speak to each other. It's absolutely proven that the heart is more powerful than the head. The heart has an electromagnetic field that is literally 1,000 times more powerful. They've done studies where they've put people in labs that are like 2 blocks, 3 blocks from each other. And they've done a study where the man sends his wife the thought, just the thought of, I love you, I love you, I love you. And blocks away, a mile away, they've tracked it on an EKG that the woman can feel that energy of love in her body. Now here's the magic. Here's the magic of your womanhood. Then they tracked the same study, and the woman sent her love to the husband. All she said in her head, I love you, I love you, I love you. And the electromagnetic tracking on his EKG of what he was received was double, because her heart is so powerful. And it's simple biology. Your heart as a woman is your electric field. Your womb is your magnetic, is where you receive energy. Your heart is where you express energy. That's the beauty of a woman. She brings it in through the womb, she expresses through her heart. In the man, it's different. He brings it in from his heart, and he expresses actually from his groin, from his penis. And it goes the opposite direction. This is the perfection of a man and woman being like a battery. When they come together, they create just a universe of potential, but not just a man and woman coming together, the actual masculine and feminine in you as well. So to know the power of your heart, first and foremost, now I'm going to give you 4 questions that bring you immediately into your heart. The first question is, how do I feel? Seems so simple, but I'm going to tell you a story. I do this experiment in my mystery school when I begin to work with women. And I say to them, ladies, how do you feel about the feminine being tortured still in this life? Is this something, like, what are your feelings about this? Like, do you believe it's true? Do you believe it's a thing of a past? And inevitably, I don't tell them yet what I'm tracking, because I'm not really tracking the question. Inevitably, what I see is I see women do this. They'll go like this, which means, if you know neurology and NLP, neuro-linguistics programming, when somebody looks up, it means they're thinking. They're immediately going into their head. So I see everybody go like this. And then they'll say, well, I think. Do you ever notice that? Whenever you ask someone how they feel, they'll say, I think, I think, I think. And that's exactly what's happening. You're tracking. They're in their head. They're thinking it when you've asked them about feeling. Most of us have no idea. We're not used to going down to actually feel. What a backward notion that when we ask somebody about their day, we say, how are you doing? As if doing is a state of being. It's crazy. Really, the question should be, how you be? How you being? But it seems so odd because the feminine has been so distorted to say that. So what do we get? We get fine, 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 because it's not a question that we can answer, because we're not even holding space for the feeling nature, for the being nature. So that's just an added question, how you be. Okay, but how do you feel? Now, these are not questions for other people. These are for yourself. As a goddess, it is a masterful thing to be able to turn towards yourself and to truly, all the ways that you track other people in your life, and women are very good at this, you want to turn yourself 180 and actually focus, feel, look for yourself. Be in relationship with yourself. The feminine is so relational, and the goddess cannot emerge within you. You cannot unleash her power unless you turn and you're in relationship with yourself. The feminine only opens and reveals herself if she feels safe. Think about your yoni. Have you ever had a partner that truly knows how to open your yoni? It's because you feel safe, because he's gentle, because the touch is stuff. And I don't mean like just to have an orgasm, but I mean to have like a yoni open orgasm. If you've never had one, it's really something. It's worth going into a mystery school or a tantra to understand how that can happen, how you can allow somebody to open that for you. But the yoni will open herself when she feels safe and when she feels revered. Those two things, to feel safe and to revered, are the key codes for allowing the feminine within you to open, whether it be in your yoni, your womb, or just your being, your goddess being. So the second question is, what do I need? We all need something. And need is not necessarily like that something's wrong. But what do I need? I need more touch. I need more love. I need more time outside. I need to breathe deeper. And if you're not quite comfortable with the word need, then what do you love? What would you love? The question we're always thinking is, what should I be doing? Should. We're always shoulding on ourselves. Such an imbalanced masculine thing to do. So another version of the second question is, what would I love to do? What would I love in this moment? You don't have to do it. I understand we've got busy lives, but even just getting into the acknowledgement of it, to acknowledge it in yourself, is a total revolution. Next question. What am I celebrating? Now, this question, I had to really shift this question around, because the old question was, what am I grateful for? But that whole gratitude thing has become so like by rote in the new age culture. It's like, gratitude. Meanwhile, the gratitude is truly the vibration of your heart. Gratitude is of the highest feminine vibration. So forget the question of what am I grateful for, because we're all kind of sick of that question at this point. What am I celebrating today? And you're going to feel your heart open to your life. It's going to be like your heart is going to smile to life, and life can smile back to you. Fourth question. This one's important. What is the truth of my heart? Now, this one requires you to like really stop, drop, and take a pause. When you really get good at this, close your eyes, go in. What is the truth of my heart right in this moment? There's two things that this does. Number one, it unlocks your right to have your truth again. For eons, for lifetimes, women's voices have been cut off and we've been silenced. And that's still in our body, in our cellular system, that we're not allowed to be loud, that we're not allowed to speak. We all oftentimes live with a good girl archetype, and the good girl is like, I'll be very polite, I'll be quiet, I'll be good, I'll fit in, I'll make myself small so that you've got the space and that everything's okay. I won't fight back. I'll just be right here. And oftentimes, we didn't mean to, but our mothers gave us a lot of praise when we were good girls. You're so good. So to take back your truth and truly be willing to speak your truth, to have a truth journal, my truth is, and really be building this musculature of your truth, telling the truth to yourself. It starts with you. The true truth of your pain, of your fear, of how much you frigging love yourself. I had someone the other day in the mystery school and she said, my truth is, I am really frigging proud of myself. I want to pet myself. I want to shake myself up and hold myself up because I'm so damn proud of this song that I just made and that I just released. And then after that, she said, I'm so vulnerable that I just said that. And we were all like, yeah, wow. Why was she so vulnerable? Because it's not okay to tell the truth about how great we feel. It's not okay to toot our own horn. We've been taught that that's not okay. So tell the truth of your deepest pain, but tell the truth of your deepest power. And take that back. And when you negotiate it and you say not just your truth, but the truth of your heart, now what you're doing is you're giving your heart a voice. You're bringing your heart back as a player in your life, as opposed to something that you're completely cut off from. Another thing we do in the mystery school, and you can go ahead and add this, what is the truth of my womb? Beautiful, beautiful thing to be able to connect with your womb, to begin to be in relationship with your womb wisdom. What is the truth of my womb? Those questions are very feminine questions. They bring you in relationship with your inner goddess, with your inner feminine. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you into a meditation, and you're going to have an experience with the Divine Mother. And there's a very, very important piece that Divine Mother has asked me to bring in for all of us at this time, and it's about your feelings. She's wanting us all to get into our feeling body. Our feelings, oftentimes we're very afraid to truly feel. We apologize for when we cry. It's such an interesting thing. At the start of the mystery school, every woman in the circle is always apologizing whenever she starts to cry. I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And then by the end, it's like we're all celebrating our tears because we know that there are baptism in our circle for everybody, that the tears unleash something. So let me tell you why Divine Mother says this is so important right now. Because emotion is energy in motion. The word is a code right there. It tells us everything we need to know. Emotion, energy in motion. When we are not a feeling culture, which we are not, guess what happens? All that energy gets stuck and locked. So in the grids around the earth, there is so much energy that is blocked and locked. And it has become so dense and so compacted and so heavy, which is why we can't see ourselves. We don't know who we are. We are such a lost culture because of all the trapped energy. I want you to think about a 2-year-old for a second. A 2-year-old is, we call them the terrible twos because we can't handle their big emotions. But really, that 2-year-old is biologically perfectly designed. They feel a wave of energy from top to very bottom, and then they're done. They wipe their eye, they go back to play. You ever see a 2-year-old? They reset to joy. They don't hold on to anything because their bodies are designed, your body is designed to feel a wave fully of emotion, and then it's gone. But what happened, we didn't realize it. We conditioned the 2-year-old out of that biological correctness. We picked it up. We said, it's okay, don't cry, don't cry. I'll get you an ice cream. It's going to be better. We thought that was comfort. Comfort, true comfort is the mother's presence being there. I know you're upset. I'm right here with you. When you're ready, I'm right here. You can return to me. My heart is open to you. Cry, get it out. That's it. Let it go. Give your children permission to feel. But more importantly, give yourself, give the inner child within you permission to feel. Be the Divine Mother that stands with that part of you that needs and wants to cry and wail and scream and spit and say, yes, take up that space. That's good. Because then what's happening is you're moving the wave. So the women, the priestesses, the goddesses right now, it's very important for us to feel because we're going to be moving the energy of the grids of the world. Through your body, this is how powerful you are as a woman. Through your body, when you let yourself feel, you're actually moving and discharging stuck energy from mass consciousness. And what it will start with is it will start with pains in your body. It'll start with a little bit of back pain, a little bit of shoulder pain. That's your body calling you to attention, to your priestess work. There's nothing wrong with that. We make it wrong. We want to fix it. Stop fixing everything. Just be with it. Go into the sensation. Ask what it has to show you, what needs to be revealed. And oftentimes you'll find an emotional pain that goes along with it. Sit, learn the art of being with that emotional pain. Again, something that we teach in the mystery schools. I'm just going real fast with this so that I can just give you an overview. But there's the potential that you can do this because you know how to do this because you're a woman. Okay? And you feel, and you let yourself cry. You may not even understand what those tears are, but you let yourself feel and cry and rage. That's the highest temple work that you can be doing. Okay? So let's go into the temple. Let's allow Divine Mother to initiate and to anoint us in this. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Now we're already in the Temple of Sophia. I want to remind you of that. Just take a moment to get yourself back there. Nobody else is there with you, but now you're standing in a circle. Look down on the ground. It's a beautiful rose quartz ground, flooring, and there's beautiful white roses that you're standing in. When you look down at your feet, there's a beautiful circle of white roses that you're finding yourself in. And we're now going to invoke and invite the presence of the Divine Mother, however you see her, to come in through the temple walls right before your eyes and to make an appearance. Notice how your body and emotions feel when you are in the presence of the goddess, of the feminine. And just feel yourself melt and soften in her presence. She is absolutely unconditional love. Her eyes look at you and you feel safe. And she says to you, my daughter, I love you just as you are. You are safe. You are held here in this temple. You are home here in this temple. You are safe in my heart here. I love you just as you are. You are perfect. And then she takes your hands and she begins to bring you into a back room of the temple, a very, very holy, very, very sacred room. She says, you are ready for this now. Follow me. She takes your hands and you begin to walk with her. And as you are holding her hand, you feel a warmth, almost like this beautiful white or golden energy, a warmth that gets emitted right from her hand holding up into your heart. It's like she's blessing your heart even as she walks with you. And she takes you into a beautiful room that almost looks like an ancient Greek room with pillars. And there's a beautiful pool of water in this room. And she says to you, these are the sacred holy waters of the world's tears. And they are good and they are blessed. And she asks you now to gently go into the water. She goes in first and she invites you to come into the waters with her. And you begin to walk down into those waters, and they are waters like you've never felt before, magical waters that instantly take any contraction in your body and they soften them. All of the lies of not enoughness and unworthiness and undeservedness and not okay, they all release from your body in this moment. You are free from them. Who are you? Feel who you are without all of those beliefs. Feel who you are without the belief that you're not enough. Just that one. You will feel different in these waters when you let that go. And she begins to take a beautiful chalice and she begins to gently dip the waters over your third eye like a beautiful baptism. And she's cleansing your mind, cleansing the thoughts that imprison you. Just breathe and receive and let this be. And now she says to you, you are ready. You are ready now to breathe into your deepest pain, into the deepest pain of the world that your body can feel. And she asks you in the waters to feel the tears, all of the tears, lifetimes of tears that you didn't get a chance to cry. Those tears that you felt that burn in your throat when you were a little girl, when you were a teenager, maybe even just last week, and you didn't let them out. In these magical waters, you're going to release those tears. And you're going to see yourself either actually crying or simply releasing them from your body so that they go into these sacred pools. Fully absorb the divine support that is here for you. The Divine Mother is here without judgment, just in her beautiful, strong, steady presence. And she's saying, just release. Release this. And she speaks straight to your heart when she says to you, beautiful, dear, precious woman, your tears shall heal the world. You are releasing yourself from eons of suppressed emotions. Through you, for all. You are weeping for your own healing and transformation. You are weeping for the women of the world, living or past. You are weeping for the grief-stricken collective feminine psyche. Weep, holy woman, and thank you for your tears. Weep for the times when your body was violated and other women's bodies were violated. Weep for the decimation of the earth. Weep for the abuse of the children. Weep for the times where you felt rejected. Weep for the fundamental rejection of the feminine. Weep for the lost men. Weep for the war. Thank you for your tears, holy woman. She says, I shall hold them in sacrament and bless them eternally. You can let this pain go. Let this pain go. May it no longer be part of your energy field now. Trust that you are releasing heavy burdens of the heart, clearing deep channels of feminine wisdom through letting these tears flow. You clear deep channels of feminine wisdom, dear woman, when you let the tears flow. Never, ever from this moment forward be afraid or ashamed of your tears. Take back your tears as holy drops of release and purification, for they have an energy that is wise and good and healing and purposeful and powerful. Your tears are needed. Beautiful. Shedding tears is a path to retrieving the authentic feminine soul. And know that even these waters are bathing and cleansing you of old calcified emotional pain. Take a moment to dip in, to bless yourself, to swim, to be buoyant in these waters for one last moment. And the goddess steps out. And she stands at the top of the steps of these waters. And then you step out. And she places her hand on your heart now. And from all the places that you've released, she's now filling you with a warmth. with a golden energy that you can take in. Breathe this in. It stabilizes a sense of your own inner goddess. It stabilizes a new sense of confidence, and not confidence about what you accomplish or what you do, but confidence because you know that you are worthy for being. She is transmitting a new template inside of you. That woman, you are worthy just for being. Breathe that in, take that in, let it be written on every single cell in your body. I am worthy just for being. And the goddess smiles at you and she says, yes, thank you. Thank you for your willingness to do this deep work with me on this day, where you have set forth this possibility and this potential for every woman. For as you take back this power, you give others permission to take it back for themselves. Thank you, goddess. And in the blink of an eye, she fades. And you feel yourself standing a little bit more upright, a little bit more centered, a little bit more attuned in your own being. Placing your hand on your heart and actually speaking it aloud. I, and say your name. I, Marin, now do declare, at the deepest level of my being, I accept and allow it to be so, that I am worthy just for being. I am now worthy just for being. I am worthy just for being. And taking all of what's happened here back into your human body, back into your experience, breathing your way back through the veils of Isis, back into your heart sanctuary, with every breath coming back into your body, coming back to your being. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I welcome all of you goddesses back. Good. And just notice, what would be the truth of your heart now? Just notice, like, oh, okay. The truth of my heart is what? But maybe the truth of my heart is I'm uncomfortable, or the truth of my heart is that was different, or the truth of my heart is I feel calm. Whatever it might be, just notice, notice, notice. Always be tuning in, turning in. Okay, before we close our workshop, I'm going to ask you to tune into a question that you want to ask of the oracles. I'm going to use a deck that I like very much. It's called the Work Your Light deck. It's by Rebecca Campbell. I find this deck to be one of the most potent and powerful ones that I work with, and I've got so many. But if you're interested in oracle work, highly recommend this one. Again, it's Work Your Light Oracle Cards by Rebecca Campbell. Okay, so we're going to invoke and invite the Holy Order of the Oracles. I'm sensing that it's the oracles of the dove that want to come with us, because I see a dove coming down through the center of our circle. The dove comes down to remind all of us, by the way, that our greatest power as women is an undefended heart. Take that in for a second. And you might even want to breathe in the dove, because the dove, by the way, your psyche speaks in symbols. Your psyche and your subconscious speaks in symbols, imagery, ritual, and ceremony. So to retrain a psyche to actually begin to help with beliefs, you can't just start thinking new beliefs on the third dimension. You actually have to go and ritualize new beliefs on the multidimensional realms and work with symbology and work with the goddesses and work with imagery and work with codes, because that's what begins to retrain your psyche. Okay? So the oracle of the dove, let's breathe the dove into our hearts so we can connect with this beautiful order, this oracle. And we're going to ask them to stand around us to bless the cards. Let's hold up the cards and ask for their blessing. Beautiful. I see that infusion of light. And so go ahead and ask a question, any question, truly from your heart, not from your head, as best you can. Access the question from your heart. It may simply be, what do I need to know right now in this moment? It may be, what do I need to unlock my inner goddess? What do I need to bring that love of my life in? Show me, show me, show me. I am ready to receive it now. Just really feel that call from your heart. I am truly ready for this. Show me, show me, show me. Okay, we're going to spread the cards here. And let's see what happens. Okay, I'm getting that it's in the center. Okay, so the card is the Dance with Life card. And it has these beautiful beings that are dancing very much in those temples that I saw us. Okay, and let's find out what that means. Dance with life. Page 62. Okay, so this is your message from the oracles. Beloved, life is always moving. If you resist this ever-changing flow, your energy will become stagnant and you will fall out of flow with the universe. The universe has a mysterious, intelligent force, a natural rhythmic beat, which governs all of life. And one of the best ways to shift your energy, your frequency, and your vibration is to put on some music and to dance along with it. When we dance unrestrained, our spirit takes over. And with each bop, sway, kick, we are rocked back into the harmony with the rest of life. This is not just a physical practice. It is a true ceremonial, spiritual practice to get you back into your feminine flow. Get unstuck by doing something that shifts your vibration. Put on some music. Yes, dance unrestrained, fall into the frequency of life. In doing so, your body will begin to learn how to be moved by your intuition, which is connected to this systemic beat. If dancing isn't your thing, that's okay. Simply do something, anything that you would not usually do to shift the energy. Pattern interrupt. You cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. You cannot attract a different experience without changing your energy first. It's time to shift things up and find a new way. Dance with life. Shift your energy. Say yes to a new way. Okay. So, in whatever little phrase or word maybe landed for you, that is your message from the oracles. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Stay if you will, go if you must. And we say to all of the goddesses gathered here today, we release you, but do stay with us, mentor with us. You can give them permission, by the way. If you don't understand this, this is the most important thing about working with ascended masters, goddesses, angels. You have to give them permission to work with you. They do not have the right to work with you when you're in third density and you have free will, unless you give them permission. Most people don't realize this. They're praying, 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 but if you haven't given permission, they cannot work with you. So say yes from your heart. Yes, Isis, you can work with me. Yes, Mother Mary. Yes, Divine Mother, I am ready to welcome you into my life. Show me what's next. Show me the next step. Let that book come off the shelf. Let that teacher come into my life. Let that YouTube video unlock a new wisdom in me. Whatever it may be so, may it be so, may it be so. I say yes. And the last thing that I'm going to give you is a line that I say every single morning. I do not miss a beat. And I do honestly believe if I do nothing else, this one line: Divine Mother, today I surrender my will to you. Guide me. My heart is in your hands. And every day I surrender my will, my human will, that will that gets in my way. I surrender it to her and I ask her to guide me. I put my heart in her hands. Now, you don't have to say Divine Mother. You can just say Source, God, Universe, Life. Life, I surrender my will to you. Even that, whatever words. But you're surrendering to the higher power. You're surrendering the human will to the higher power. It changes everything. Thank you, Maya. Thank you for having me. I hope this was valuable and helpful.
Yes, thank you, Marin. I would love to include in the email of the recording your mystery school. When is it coming up? Or, maybe just give information if anyone.
I'll give you all that information. Yeah, the doors of the mystery school it's a 9-month program, but we're about to close. So the doors of the mystery school, we are going to open in the next couple months. So I'll give you all that information.
9 months. How often is the school?
It's a whole thing. I'll send you all the information. But if people are interested in just getting to know me, my website is priestessrising.com.
I'll send that as
and you will read. Yeah, you can read about the mystery school programs on that website, priestessrising.com.
Yeah, I'll be posting that. And Marin does do private sessions. I've actually never met Marin in person. I know Marin for years, and I've been doing sessions with her online, and they are super powerful, just like you got a taste of today. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Marin. Everyone have a beautiful day, evening.
It's a pleasure. Let's all just say to each other, Goddess, this is how I close my circles. Goddess, the light in me honors the light in you. And so it is that the circle is open but ever unbroken. May we return to our ordinary lives knowing deep down in ourselves that we truly are extraordinary women that activate other women on this planet. Blessed be, Aho, Ashe. And goodbye. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. Yeah, so nice to be with you in sisterhood.